There's not been a Disney park on American soil that's gotten a negative reaction upon opening, quite like Disney's California Adventure. But why was it reviewed so negatively?
On this episode of Disney Declassified, we're gonna dig deep into Disney's biggest American park failure and how they turned it around.
But before you watch this video, you should check out our video on the park Disney never built, WestCOT. The story behind that project is the reason California Adventure exists, and why it was so negatively reviewed when it first opened. In the mid-1990s, Disney CEO Michael Eisner had a very difficult job. He was fresh off the failure of Euro Disney, and his closest advisor, Disney President Frank Wells, had just passed away, leaving Eisner to lead Disney all on his own. He and the rest of Disney's leadership were leery to spend exorbitant amounts of money on new parks and properties, thinking that parkgoers would flock to a Disney park even if he let quality take a backseat to finances. After canceling WestCOT, Eisner pulled together a group of Imagineers for a weekend getaway with the goal of arriving at an idea for a new park in California, one that could be built inexpensively. The winning idea? A park based off of the rich history and beauty of its home state, California. Disney's California Adventure began construction in 1998. With a budget less than half of the $3 billion that WestCOT was projected to cost, Disney cut several corners in their design. With the exception of a couple of now classic ground-up designs, most of the rides in the park were developed and built by outside manufacturers. Disney's leadership, in this case Disneyland President Paul Pressler, took a very merchandise-focused approach to the design of California Adventure. Instead of relying on the Imagineers to work on creatively building out the park, he relied on other engineers to ensure high profit margins, and the overall quality suffered. Others saw through the facade to the poorly designed details lying underneath, such as the lack of a berm to obstruct guests' views of the outside world, like Disneyland has. Originally, California Adventure was split into 4 different lands. Sunshine Plaza, which is where you'd enter the park walking underneath a sort of cartoonish version of the Golden Gate Bridge. Hollywood Pictures Backlot, which was themed after Hollywood and filmmaking. Golden State, which was themed after California's more scenic areas. And finally, Paradise Pier. The overwhelming criticism dealt with the park's theme, which was felt to be both unimaginative and redundant given that the park was in California. Guests also criticized the high number of off-the-shelf rides and the disproportionate amount of shops and restaurants compared to attractions. In fact, if we look back at the original map for the park, we can start to see this very clearly. These are all of the shops and restaurants located within the park. These are all of the off-the-shelf rides produced by outside manufacturers. And these are the only rides within the park that were ground-up designs by Imagineering.
No ride better exemplifies this lack of creative vision than Superstar Limo.
Superstar Limo was a dark ride located in the Hollywood Pictures backlot area of the park. The story of the ride was that you are a major film star and you're on your way to a big premiere. The ride was originally themed to an escape from paparazzi, but Princess Diana's death occurred right in the middle of development, causing a rewrite to remove the paparazzi elements. This ride was viewed as completely uninspired and really cheap feeling, and it echoed the reviews coming in for the park as a whole.
Disney originally projected that California Adventure should see more than 7 million guests in its first year, but they only ended up getting about 5 million, and this compares to 12 million that same year at Disneyland. This proved conclusively that guests could feel the lack of quality and creative vision, and it led to a major change-up in Disney leadership.
While Michael Eisner was undoubtedly what Disney needed when he first took over as CEO, it became clear that he was ineffective without his partner, Frank Wells. In 2005, he resigned as CEO and was replaced by Bob Iger. Iger's main initial focus was to mend old relationships, such as Disney's partnership with Pixar, and renew Disney's focus on its creative muscle. He turned his attention to California Adventure and brought on the Imagineering team in full force. Over the next decade and a half, Iger ushered in a large number of improvements to the park. Among them were Pixar Pier, Cars Land, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, and the upcoming Avengers Campus. He also went back and updated several of the park's areas and features and changed a lot of aspects of the park's original designs.
Attendance soared with these new additions, with nearly 10 million guests visiting the park in 2018.
But the initial failure of California Adventure doesn't compare to that of another Disney resort, Euro Disney. Be sure to subscribe, as we'll have another video soon going over that story in detail. So, what do you think? Do you like all the new additions to California Adventure, or do you prefer how it was when it opened? Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll see you again real soon on another episode of Disney Declassified.